Portland Mayor Keith Wilson has passed the 100 days in office mark, and it's been a challenging 100 days. The city faces a $93 million budget shortfall as Mayor Wilson looks to unveil his budget this coming Monday. But Mayor Wilson sees reason for optimism in Portland, and he's here to talk about it. Mayor Keith Wilson, welcome back to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Good morning, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
By the time this interview airs, you will have delivered your State of the City speech. What is the state of the city right now, in your opinion?
The state of the city is struggling, but with our administration, the state of Portland is rising. I see a hopefulness, but that hopefulness is also backed by a great administration with great staff and a lot of momentum, but with a lot of changes that we're just starting to bring forward now.
And we'll talk about those changes during the course of this interview. City Administrator Michael Jordan says we'll have to cut some core services. We've already heard about possible cuts to parks maintenance, services including community centers, transportation as well. City Auditor Simone Reddy says that Portland already has a $1 billion backlog of urgent infrastructure needs. So you look at this situation, how bad could this get?
Well, when we got the report from Mike, he and I sat down and we looked at, two sides of the ledger. You have your expenses, and then you also have your revenue side of it. So he and I really did a tag team. He started looking at how we can increase enterprise efficiencies, and I really focused on fundraising with external funders, whether it's the state, counties, or metro. So we really tag teamed it, and we have a balanced budget, and it is not nearly as profound or the cuts that we originally expected because we were both very successful, internal and external, with our twin goals.
Will there be layoffs in the city?
There will be some layoffs. We've been very strategic. It's not nearly going to be at the level that we first anticipated because of the fundraising we were able to do externally.
Will you be proposing increases in city taxes or fees?
Fees, yes. Taxes, no. So we really looked at what fees did we remove over time. Leaf pickup fees, park fees, parking fees, and things like that. We are very strategic at looking at other cities as a benchmark. And where we were low or underperforming, we added those back. Airbnb host fees, we're at $65 per host, and that was one of the lowest we found anywhere. Parking fees, we were 40–50% lower than Seattle, so we really looked at that from a strategy standpoint.
I want to go back to the layoffs just for a moment. Do you know the extent of the layoffs and in which departments they will come?
I can talk about the higher level. The one department that's going to be affected the most is Portland Permitting and Development. We had 5,000 homes we were building and permitting about 5 years ago. This year, it could be anywhere from 500 to 800 if we do nothing. And so that department has really taken the brunt of this. We have permits that are ready to go, but Governor Kotek and I announced recently a reduction of system development charges so we can start supercharging our building again, and then we'll start adding back to that department. But we have a new technology platform there, so we see and anticipate a lot of efficiencies in that department. But we have 65 permitting employees that will be reduced, and that is it's upsetting. It's difficult to even talk about, but we're going to be helping those individuals with other external job training or workforce development to move them into hopefully a stable job outside of the city.
You talked a little bit about working with Governor Kotek on the housing issue.
Right.
You had a joint press conference this past week along those lines. So just talk a little bit about what that will do, what suspending some of those development fees will do, and how quickly we can gear up in terms of building that 5,000 units of housing.
That's great. Let's talk about it as problem and solution. The problem is we're not building housing. And so we have a situation where it's affecting lower income levels the most. So we have low vacancy rate, and we have, it's expensive to live in Portland. So we are going to really flood the zone. We're going to increase housing to increase the vacancy rate to lower the pressure on costs. But what that does as well is there are two indicators that we have to look at as far as Portland's health. It's population and it's job growth. We have population decline and we have the worst job creation in the nation. What this will do is bring good paying jobs back into Portland and start that transformation or that revitalization that we need. So not only does it address our housing crisis, but it addresses our job creation crises as well. So it really just starts unlocking that economic activity that we need in Portland so much, and then we'll start drawing families and such back into our market.
Your first televised one-on-one interview was here on this program shortly after
Right.
you were elected. And you campaigned on ending unsheltered homelessness within a year of taking office. Here's what you said back then.
We start by addressing this by setting up a network of nighttime emergency shelters. They're low cost and they're immediate. We take empty, repurposed assets at night to care for our community members. It's that first step in the continuum that's missing right now.
And you also said you wanted more access to day shelters to get people off the streets. How much progress are we making on that goal?
We are ahead of schedule. So at the turn of the year, when I first took office, we opened 200 shelter beds. Now we have 250 now. I'll be announcing in the coming weeks for 230 more shelter beds. Our goal was by June 30th to have 450, so we're ahead of progress. We've already got day shelters isolated and ready to fund at the turn of the fiscal year. We are on target, and our target date for Portland to know is December 1st, of which we have about 213 days, 212 days. Every leadership meeting I have, we talk about that date because we want to know what can we do today to make sure that we hit that number. We're on target, Ken, and we are not gonna fail. We cannot let anybody suffer and die on the streets this winter.
Multnomah County, which has its own budget issues, released their new data dashboard recently that shows more homeless people in Portland and Multnomah County than ever before. Almost 15,000, about 6,800 unsheltered homeless. Can you still reach your goal considering those numbers, that there are still people who are entering homelessness as we're trying to get folks off the street?
That's right. Yeah, you know, that number is absolutely sobering because with those numbers, we know that there's an associated level of death that occurs from that. But what we do is we have a mission. We have a December 1st mission to make sure that any Portlander in need has a bed. That mission doesn't change. If the numbers change, we simply adjust our programming and planning. We knew we were going to flex up. We've got the funding to do it, and we're going to move and act to that date. That's our date. But we're not changing our mission of caring for Portlanders because the numbers have changed. We simply changed the inputs, but the output is still the same. We're going to provide a bed for everybody in need.
Let's talk about public safety. Are you proposing any cuts to the Portland Police Bureau? And what about expanding Portland street response?
Yeah, positive news in both of those. So we are plussing up Portland Police Bureau by $2 million with the expectation of adding more officers to the street and also adding more missions. But on the counter side of that, we are also working with Portland Police to reduce overtime. So we have hard targets that we're going to be focusing on, but in the end, it's a net $2 million increase. We need to reduce response times. We need to reduce overtime, and we can do both by this modest increase. With Portland Street Response, we're also plussing up Portland Street Response by over $1 million. We're adding 14 new Portland Street Response responders. We're going to increase their hours and their capabilities in dispatch in Portland. We're excited about that. So you have a increase in officers, but you also have an increase in unarmed responses to those that are suffering on the street.
You would need some assistance from Multnomah County in terms of the law enforcement and side of this. The DA, Nathan Vasquez, is concerned about possible cuts to his office, which would mean, and he says, reducing retail theft operations and that type thing. How concerned are you about that side of the law enforcement issue in terms of prosecution?
Right. So that's the carceral side. I trust the DA on what he needs, and he'll work with Chair on that. I'm focused on the activity side. I want to reduce property crime because there's less people on the street that may be inclined to steal, right? By caring for those on the street, I'm reducing the activity level. Our officers and our firefighters are responding to those suffering on the street, so therefore, end that suffering on the street and reduce that activity, which reduces the carceral approach or arresting people over and over again, putting them in jail only to release them back into homelessness. Nobody is getting better in jail. So reduce the suffering on the street and the need for property crime or person-on-person crime or those associated ills that go with people living on the street in crisis.